Did you run regular campaigning?
Give the victory dip.
Fall back.
All right, we will call this meeting order. May I have a roll call,
Recording in
please?
progress.
Trustee DeBoer, Trutchell,
Here.
Pfeiffer,
Here.
Banner still,
Here.
Trustee Walschlager, Connor,
Here.
Hallquist.
Here.
At this time, if you'd rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Trustee Hallquist.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, we will have public comments. For that would like to speak in public comments, please head to the podium. Seeing as there are none, do we have any on Zoom? There are none. Anybody else in the room want to speak? All right, well, we'll move to the first item, which is a consideration of the village board minutes from the January 22nd meeting. I will be abstaining. As will I.
I'll make a motion to approve the village board minutes of January 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the village board minutes from for January 22nd, 2024. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain.
I abstain as well. Do you need a roll call or do you got them all?
I got it.
Now we had motion passes. Now we have items related to the vouchers. We have consideration of vouchers for payment in the $5,524. I'm sorry, I'm starting the number over. $5,524,510.31.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers, the amount of $5,524,510.31.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the vouchers. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion carried. Now we have items related to licenses and permit. We have consideration of operators bartender licenses. I am getting to that page.
Hold up, they're stapled. You should there.
This is for Courtney Barber, Emily Ladhammer, Garland, and Emily Hoban.
I'll make a motion to approve as read.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the operator bartender's licenses. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have item from the January 15th, 2024 Plan Commission meeting. Consideration of a motion to approve renovation plans for improvement at 1223 Lawn Street.
I'll make a motion to approve renovation plans for Empower Movement. Do we need?
Some can second if they want to, otherwise he can speak for either or.
And run the hose down through the roof drain there. It does come out through that pipe.
Good.
So I touched base with Scott, and he said when he's got availability down the road and verify it too, but it is.
So it
the
is
roof
the,
drain.
okay, okay,
Yep,
thank you, I appreciate that.
Yep, no problem at all. Any other questions about the proposed project?
The lights are gonna be turned off at what,
We're happy to set that, I believe 10 PM is what you guys have requested from somebody else as a year by
yeah,
residential.
o'clock is what we, it just says 9 o'clock on the paper, but I think we said 10 o'clock, didn't we?
We'll probably use a photo eye where it will, because we're operating during business hours, so we probably wouldn't run it 10 PM.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Dave, did staff have a question in regards to, we talked about that earlier, about, is that what he was talking about?
He referenced, yes,
Okay.
that's off their parking lot,
Okay,
and he confirmed it's off the roof drain.
Has anything changed since we saw you weeks ago?
The only detail that we are considering changing is the cement board siding. Instead of doing it vertically, we're considering doing it horizontal. When we did the rendering of it, it looks much better at a horizontal line of sight for the building. So we might make that minor alteration, which wouldn't be a material change. It would just be vertical or horizontal siding versus vertical siding.
I'll second the motion that's on the floor.
Just make the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve renovation plans for Empower Movement at 120 Lawn Street.
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. The motion is to approve the renovation plans for Empower Movement at 123 Lawn Street. Any dissent? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you. Thank you. Now we have consideration of a first reading of bill for an ordinance number 02112024, an ordinance to create 78-9 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code regulating wireless telecommunication facilities in public right-of-way.
So this ordinance drafted by the village attorney and staff. This ordinance is being created because of the demand of repeaters for 5G cell. 5G cell works on line of sight, so they already have the okay through the state of Wisconsin to put repeaters on We Energy poles and light poles. This ordinance, what we're creating here, is for if there's no poles in this area, that they would have to come to village board village and abide by this ordinance that we're creating. I want to touch on a few things in this ordinance. So the Federal Communication Commission regulates these antennas and poles. They state that they can be 50 feet in height. We're putting in here on page 2, line 65, that it's not going to be, it can only be % higher than the highest structure. We don't want, if there's a bunch of homes, we don't want a 50-foot pole sticking out like a sore thumb. And then on line 68, we said that the structure has to be self-supporting, that can't put guy wires down on it, because we don't want them all over the edge either. Line 172, it says the time of submission, the applicant, the seller, must submit proof that he contacted all the neighbors within 300 feet of where this is going to be. Just keep the residents in the loop. We thought that'd be a adverse to put that there. Then on line 288, when we're referencing fee, so what they have is we have a right permit for anything that happens in a village right away. That fee structure we just changed earlier this year. So that they'll fill out the permit through the administration office. We'll get $150 for the permit, and then we get $2,000 for a cash bond, and that cash retained bond is in case they cause damage to our public right away, that we have something to back on to repair it. And then we also put in here the village shall not be required to incur any costs in this project per the applicant must restore. On line 348, it was put in here the village department works. We issue the permit, and a lot of permits throughout this have a different time frame, anywhere from 1 week to 6 months to finish. We cap ours off 90 days, so they have 3 months to finish it. We don't want these projects to drag on any longer than 3 months. On page 12, it says that if they have any resident or cell carrier has concerns, they can appeal to you, the village board. That everything has to come through you for appeals. Page 14 on line 500 says that this gets into that the permit must do restoration with 15 days. Otherwise, the village can report and we can build them 130% of the cost for restoring it right away. So that way we're not doing it, losing money on it. And then we've been here, but we're gonna remove this on lines 505 to 510. We looked into this a little more. It said the permit holder, which is the cell carrier, must pay the village an annual fee. Under Wisconsin statute 660414, they say all can charge them is $12 per cell tower, and we figure that's not worth it at this time because it's going to cost administration more to invoice that than the $20. So we can revisit that if we have a bunch of cell carriers that want to come in. Right now, there's one, a Verizon, that wants to put a pole on Cottonwood and North Shore Drive because there's not an electric pole that they can use at this time. They've been holding on until we pass this. They've been holding for 6 months already, but we had to make sure that we got our ducks in a row with this ordinance.
Dave, can they put this anywhere? I mean, can they?
In a right of way, it has to be.
In a right of way, but a pole, what if let's say it's, I don't know, 4 winds or something, they want to put it in there, and there's already, by the guidelines, there's no above wires or anything like
Yes,
that.
so according to the state of Wisconsin, they can.
They can.
That's why we don't want anybody in town until this gets established. We can control it. So the one that they wanted to put on Cottonwood and North Shore, they wanted to put it on the corner, and I met with the inspector. We're going to make them move it because line triangle, it would have affected that. So we do have the village Public Works does have say in it, and then we'll rely on staff as well.
Okay, thank you.
Now, we have a second reading, but I just want to touch on what we're going to do here, item 6, so it doesn't get confusing. On your agenda, you'll see that there's a consideration of a second read with possibility of waiving third reading of an ordinance amending section 50232 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to impact fees and schedule of a public. So we're going to consider the second, being the second reading of the ordinance can't be waived and done without having the public hearing first. Am I doing that correctly? Mm-hmm. Okay. So at this time, we will have the public hearing. Anybody that would like to speak? And if anybody's on Zoom, they could.
Ed Max is here from the equipment.
Oh, he's going that?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And then
Got it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ed Maxwell. I'm with Rugert and Milky. I put together the study for impact fees for you. I wanted to see if you had any questions. I'll put together some slides that I can briefly go through that might answer some of your questions about them. I won't go through all the detail that was in the study, but just to give you an overview, since it's been a little while since we talked about impact fees, I thought that might be good. So the slides in your packet, if you could start with the slide that says fundamental impact fees. Just to make sure we're all on the same page. So impacts are nothing more than enacting the rule that growth pays for growth, or growth should pay for growth. And so these are charges to new development, pay for infrastructure to serve those developments. The state statutes spell out what they can and can't cover, and there are a few things you can't cover with them, like any operating expenses, vehicles, also what they call existing deficiencies, which is basically anything that serves existing population's needs, you can't pay for with impact fees. And then also anything that goes beyond the forecast period is called excess capacity. So you can't pay for anything that's, say, 40 years out, but within 20 years you can. And you can charge anybody who might benefit from these and causing new growth. That's essentially it.
Can I ask just an example?
Yeah.
Something that may come up in 20 years. I'm not saying we're gonna do this, I'm just asking. Say we're gonna put in charging stations in the parking lot because we don't have any in the village, that's something that's those type of things.
Yeah, and you can update your to include them then.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. It's just saying, for example.
Yeah, good question. And requirements, these are the things you have to include in the study in order to do them. You have to define what the service area is. For you, it's the whole village, so that's simple. What does your growth forecast look like? What current facilities do you have to serve your existing population? And what are the service standards you've selected in order to determine what the needs are for the future as well? And what are those future projects that you want to pay for, and what are the costs? And then statutes also require taking a look at housing affordability as well. So that's in the study. And then recently the law changed, so you have to provide developers with an explanation for what fees are paying for. This study can serve that purpose. You just copy of this to them or send them an electronic copy, and you fulfilled that requirement. And you've already made the study available, issued a claim notice, and we're at the public hearing. So after this, you can decide whether to approve or not on these. In the next slide, really impact fees are just a division problem when it boils to it. There are lots of numbers that go into them, but you're looking at how much do you have to pay for these new growth projects and dividing it by growth, how many houses that is, and other kinds of new development. So that's it in a nutshell. We can move on to the next slides. The statutes do require to do some ongoing things like reporting out every on what was spent and what was collected for impact fees, and then tracking each account separately. And then you do have to refund the money if you spend it within a certain amount of time. 8 years for most fees, 10 years for sewer for some reason. So it's best avoided if possible. And this last one isn't a requirement, but I recommend updating it every few years because costs change, projects change, forecast. Getting into the specifics, Hartland, you've had fees since 1998, which is great. A lot of municipalities weren't forward-looking. You've been able to pay for a lot of costs because of that. You saw by looking at parks, DW, and library. Did the same thing in 2008 and added a couple departments, police and fire to that. And now we're focusing on parks, DPW, and library again. I'll be back hopefully very soon to do police fire as well. So what we did was we took a look at what was in your comprehensive plan for your forecast, and we looked at what is the acreage changing by, and then what's the average number of residential units in each of residential acreage. And from there we get a forecast of nearly 800, but then we have to back out the units that are in the TID development, since you can't essentially double collect. And so that's how we get a residential forecast. We did a similar sort of process with non-residential. We took a look at the total acreage, and then we split the costs between non-residential and residential based on equalized value. Residential getting about 70% and non-residential about 30%. And so the calculation of the specific fees, there's more detail in the study itself, but you can see sort of the punchline here for parks. You start with your eligible projects, take the total of those costs, and then deduct what you've collected already and have accumulated but not spent, so your current MP fund balance. Subtract that out, and that's the total new growth you need to recover. Divide that by the number of residential units in the forecast, that's the new impact fee. And I will say parks is a substantial decline from what you currently have, and that's because you finished most of the project set out to finish. It's a decline from $1,200 down to $136. Transportation, that's a different story. Remaining debt from the prior impact fee study that you completed there, plus the department is forecasting a need for expanded space. So that cost is included above. And then you deduct, just like you did before, the current impact fee fund balance, and that's your total new growth, which is about 700,000. And then that's split between residential and non-residential. You come up with it from there. This is much more the current residential fee of $250. You can see it's about $427. That's because there's this need for additional space. Library is more like parks. You're not adding any new projects. You're just paying for debt you've already accumulated for future growth. And then you're stripping out that current impact fee fund balance. So you're looking to recover about $240,000. So you're seeing a fee of $158, which is, again, a decline from what it is. And so our summary here shows a net decline in the fees at this point of about 33%. That may change the police and fire update a little bit later. I may be recommending you raise those, but right now what's being proposed is a decline here. And there's one other change that I'm recommending, which is tying the to some sort of audit increase each year. For what I'm proposing in the ordinance, it's a tied consumer price index. So if you see inflation at 3%, you just raise by 3% each year. And we are at a point where you can decide to vote to approve, or if you have more questions, we can answer those. That's it in a nutshell.
Staff have questions? Anybody on the board? No? No? So, with that having been presented, anybody from the public want to speak? All right. We held the public hearing. At this time, if someone wanted to make a motion to suspend the rules to adopt this, that could be done. It would have to be a motion to suspend the rules, and then once the rules are suspended, it would have to be a motion to approve. This is just the second reading, and we've had the public hearing, and time we come back, we approve it then. Or we don't do anything. To the board.
I make a motion that we suspend the rules.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to suspend the rules. The rule, any discussion? And we have a roll. We don't have to have a roll call vote, do we? No. Are you requesting it?
No, I thought we did.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The rules are suspended.
Motion that we approve ordinance ending 50-232 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to fees and schedule, and that's it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution amending Appendix A of the Code of Ordinances for the Village of Hartland concerning the schedule of impact fees, which is Resolution 2/12/2024. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
We're still acting under suspended rules. Now we have consideration of second reading with possible waiving of the third reading of.
We did that.
We did? This was for. Okay. So I had my wording, oh, here, sorry about that. My wording a little bit wrong, because I read what was on there, opposed to saying the ordinance number. So we would also need a motion to approve the resolution.
To amend the fees.
To amend the fees, yes.
All right, I'll make a motion that we. I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution amending Appendix A of the Code for the Village of Hartland concerning the schedule of impact fees.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2/12/2024, resolution amending Appendix A of the Code of Ordinances for the Village of Hartland concerning the schedule of impact fees. Any discussion? I will simply say, though I'd say those words, I believe the board understands the vote for this was changing, was amending the code of ordinances.
Correct, yep.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a consideration of a second reading with possible waiving of the reading of a bill for an ordinance number 01-22-2024 in order to amend Chapter 30 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to municipal court. So this is the second reading. If we don't approve, I don't even know what would happen, but this is the second reading. It does not have to be approved tonight. It can be gotten out of the way if someone wanted to.
Still under suspending, or we got to do it one?
If the board, because unless someone opposes that ruling, would say that we're still under suspended rules. We just had the vote.
Okay, all right.
Would you guys all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Okay.
it. All right, I'll make a motion to approve setting and waive the third reading for Bill of Ordinance number 01-222-2024, an ordinance to amend Chapter 3 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to municipal court.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. To approve a bill for an ordinance number 122-2024, an ordinance to amend Chapter 30 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to the municipal court. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of a second reading with a well, that's what it is. Consideration of a motion to approve, sorry, the order is, we're going back up to A now. Consideration of a motion to approve the successor agreement for the creation of the Lake Country Municipal Court, also known as the Municipal Court, Western Waukesha County.
I'll make a motion. We approve the successor agreement for the operation of the Lake Municipal Court, also known as Municipal Court of Western Waukesha County.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the successor agreement for the operation Lake Country Municipal Court, known as the Municipal Court for Waukesha County. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The motion is carried. Now we have consideration of a second reading with possible waiving of the third reading for an ordinance number 122-2024-01, an ordinance amending section 6-37 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to operator's license.
I'll make a motion to waive the third reading of a bill for an ordinance 122-2004-01, ordinance amending section 6-37 of the Village of Hartland Municipal Code pertaining to operator's license.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to forego the third reading and to adopt, am I saying this correct? And to adopt bill for number 122-2024-01. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That one is carried. Now we have a update on hometown celebration.
So our full swing with the coordinating of that event. It's going to be another great year. Some of the major changes that we are planning 2024 include a shift from beach to beer capital. So we're going from the Budweiser product to the Miller product. We're also shifting from selling tap beer to all cans. It used to be that kegs were more cost-effective than cans. Nowadays, you get about $1 per for if it's a 14-ounce glass for a keg, for the cost of a keg. Plus you've got in the cost of the cup, which is cents, and for a 24 pack of cans, the tall boys. It's about $24. So it's pretty much the same cost and a lot easier with a lot less potential loss in the product. So we are looking at shifting again from tap beers to Miller cans. We are adding a map provided in the packets to kind of see some of the changes. The bar is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be opening it up into the parking lot, face the beer garden, so people know that there's beer under there. We're shifting the ticket booth side and having its own tent. You'll get tickets and you'll get wristbands. We are going to have another bar under shelter 2, the food. And another big change on the next map is going to be introducing Kids Zone, which is going to have a rock wall, some bounce houses, and a tent with games and a DJ. We did, just to go back a few months, we did explore a carnival. The 2 areas in Nixon Park that the carnival could potentially fit would be this area by the T-ball field and then the parking lot. Glad we outfit the parking lot to have electricity for a big concert. So that wasn't ideal, but with the way that the area is laid out and then the powers, the carnival that we looked at couldn't ideally fit as many rides in that space to be cost effective and for it to be an upscale kind of event for us. We also looked in this grass area, but most of the events that they do, they don't recommend putting in grass because if you get inclement weather and you have a $60,000 truck, or 60,000 pound truck, it could be leaking into the grass and tear up the park. So ideally, we're shifting maybe from the idea, I know it was recommended to look into it, but the carnival doesn't really fit for this event. So we are looking at clever ways to make it still fun on Friday night for the kids that will be in the park. So those are some of the major changes come for 2024. And the next few items that we're going to be considering have to do with the contracts that need to be signed.
Awesome. Now we have, thank you much, sir. Now we have a consideration of a motion to improve the increase in budget for home operation fireworks from $18,000 and $19,200 to maintain the same length and intensity of a show as the previous years.
Yes, so this was somewhat anticipated. Every year we're going to need to increase the cost just to maintain the same show. So there is an email from Star Fireworks that means the increase of $1,200 to maintain that same length and same intensity that we have been used to for the last several years. Taking the budget from $18,000 to $19,200.
Did they happen to see if, I mean, that's a nominal. If you kept it at 18,000, what would you lose? One shot or no? No, what's the difference?
That's a good question. I think the last time we looked at this is you're not going to get as obviously into the show, and then or you're losing time or possibly both, depending on how they can maximize it to match what we have. But
if I do well last year, because we went from the 7 to the 18 last year, we did end up having them give a list out, but that's where they say time and the intensity. It's either, you can either give up time and they shuffle out some of the shots. So intensity isn't there, or they would have to show to keep it.
Yeah, I didn't know if it's 5 minutes equals that or 2 minutes, or, I was just curious what it equated to.
I'll make a motion to approve the increase in budget for hometown celebration fireworks from $18,000 to $19,200 to maintain the same length.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve raising the amount of hometown celebration fireworks $18,000 and $19,200 to maintain length and intensity of a show as previous years. I would, if we could, Sarah, even though we have a motion on the floor and I'm for it, but if we could find out, like if they could tell us, or even, I mean, I'm open to, but if they could just describe and say, hey, you're going to lose this. I don't really want us to lose intensity. That's just my opinion. I want to keep it up so people aren't walking away saying, wow, that was awesome. I'm all for the increase, but if they kind of give us what they think is the board could be updated on that.
Absolutely.
I see every year there's going to be, so at some point we might have to have saturation point. So.
Right.
Or a donor.
Or a donor. Well, I was calling for saying, throw more money in there, that should light up the sky.
Yeah, I want it to be longer, not short.
Well, that's, yeah. All in? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of a motion to approve expenditure of $9,000 for Hallquist performance hometown celebration.
Yes, so they are returning. We signed the contract with them. $9,000 is what we paid last year and plan to pay this year. As you all know, we are planning to continue to rotate bands, with Saturday being a night that didn't have much historically going on. We've been trying to bring a big name in. I think as we're establishing and making it a really big, fun event, we're going to be able to rotate some bands that might not be as expensive as Bella Canyon.
I make a motion, we approve the expenditure of $9,000 for Bella Keane performance at hometown celebration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve expenditure of $9,000 for Bella Keane performance at home celebration. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of a motion to a contract with area rental to provide tents and miscellaneous items for hometown celebration.
Yes, so this is an increase from last year. Last year we were just over 15,000. This year we're sitting at 19,900. And because we're renting the 100 by 100 foot tent, but we're adding a 30 by 50 foot for the kids zone, and then a 10 by 20 foot tent for tickets. We are shrinking the stage. It was a little bit big, but so we're gonna shrink it a bit, but still need sidewall, and then the bar sections. The bar sections number has gone up significantly because we have another area that we're wrapping our sections.
If I'm not mistaken, we're also saving because we don't have to do the electrical work this year?
Overall, the budget, yes.
And how much was that?
Roughly $25,000.
Okay, so.
Sarah, will there bar tables in the back area?
Yes, I forgot to mention that. Yes, you look at the map. We do have some high tops that are going to be under the tent. The rectangles that are outside of the tent are the picnic tables, but the ones are going to be some high top tables behind the sound stage, and then on the northeast side of the tent.
Are we renting those or buying those?
We are. We're going to rent them.
But is it from this company here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's in the quote as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. We are still borrowing a lot of equipment from Big Ben this year as well. They've been really nice. They have a beautiful sound stage that we're going to borrow, and we're going to borrow as much lighting as we can from them. So we kind of pace out the things we're buying for this event over time.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with area rental to provide tents and miscellaneous items for hometown.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the contract with rental to provide tents and miscellaneous items for hometown celebration. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration to award contract for Pembroke's Ball Diamond Fencing.
So this was budgeted in the 2024 budget. There was need for multiple things. The fencing along first and third baseline are all curled up on the bottom, and also that we had issues with the backstop. So the backstop isn't high enough, and we've been getting complaints from families that the foul balls go over the backstop and they're banging the cars. So we budgeted for this fence replacement. We got three proposals. Century Fence came in low at $56,650. Had a budgeted line item for $6,000, so we're happy with that proposal. This will come out of the CIP budget. Staff recommends awarding the contract to Century Fence Company for a sum of $56,150.00.
A motion that we approve the construction of the new baseball fence and backstop and Century Fence for $56,350.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Pembroke Baseball Diamond Fencing. Any discussion?
Question I had, do you have what two quotes were? And after the man, I trust.
Yeah,
you,
they
reference.
There was Leo, you defer. I think there was one that was 70,000, and one was 100,000.
And what was
The reason their century is low, they actually want to get on it to keep their people working through the winter. So they're actually going to start on it, and the other ones we'd have to schedule either their right before baseball season or after. What?
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion is carried. And I'm on for a month, and I feel like I've done this before. Now we have a discussion and consideration of award contract for the 2024 sanitary sewer cleaning and televising project.
So the Village of Hartland, we contract out cleaning of our sewer system a year. We sought this out for proposals, and then we also do we call it televising. What they're doing in televise our sanitary sewer lines prior to paving of the road. So we sent it out. We got a couple proposals coming in. Visual came in low again this year at 42 cents per foot cleaning and $1.35 for televising. Normally we clean approximately 80,000 feet, and then we also televise about 20,000 feet. This is not a budget item. It comes out of the sewer maintenance, so it's out of the utility. So staff is recommending awarding the 2024 sanitary cleaning and televising to Visuals Incorporated, not to exceed the sum of $6,600. We put not to exceed because we're finalizing the total footage of televising and cleaning, so it will not exceed the $60,600.
Dave, is that televising as a pay-per-view event?
I'll deliver the video.
I'll make a motion to award the contract for the 24 sanitary cleaning and televising project.
Second.
Not to exceed the sum of $60,600.
Second.
Busy sewer, yeah.
It's been seconded to award a contract for the 2024 sanitary sewer cleaning and televising project in an amount that's not to exceed $60,600. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration for the awarding contract for the 2024 utility contract.
All right, again, this is something we do yearly prior to paving of our streets. We put out this contract. It's for manhole, storm sewer, catch basins, hydrants, and valve repairs. The American Sewer came in low at $300,170. We did budget in our budget, we had in there $282,150. So it did come in a little over, but again, this is the utility, and we don't borrow for this. It's a line item that comes out of the UT account. But the reason for it is the number of catch bases we have. After we inspected it, we have to go deeper on some, so the concrete cost and the storm sewer catch basin costs were higher. So there's a couple options we could do here. We could choose to choose the number of structures getting repaired to hit that 282, 150 budget amount, but then again, it's also in the utility account. The problem with doing that is that if we hold off and then structures the same year as we pave, now you're risking settlement for brand roads, and I don't think we should. Or else you could move forward. This contract is stated. Staff is recommending that we award the 2024 utility contract to American Sewer Services Incorporated for the sum of $300,170.00.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 utility contract to American Sewer Services for the sum of $300,170.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the contract for the 2024 utility contract. Discussion. I have a couple things that I just want to say, and they related to this. because some of the upcoming projects. We are looking to continue to develop and build, hopefully by developers, Cottonwood Avenue. The layers are an eyesore. It's also part of the bid and part of our downtown, and it's treated like a second class. It looks like it's treated like a second class citizen opposed to the business on cap. Once we pave Cottonwood, now we're ripping up New Street if we decide to drop those wires. So I want everyone to just be aware, because I know it's not on you. I like staff's recommendation on what think on that. And I know it's a tough thing. It's a tough pill to swallow. It won't be any cheaper 15 years from now, but it'll definitely be I think it'd be a really bad thing if in seven years, a developer comes and that's what's prohibiting development. So they're like, okay, dig up street and bury it.
All right, so let's talk about that. So we did reach out to, so We Energies, we have AT&T, and we have Strom outside on Cottonwood Avenue. We did reach out to them, and came out to $1 million per block. And that's not including running the electric to each structure, which means business. We would have to sub that out ourselves, so We Energies doesn't do that. So, didn't get a number on that. If you want us to proceed and get a number on that, we can. We were kind of in shock around with $1 million per block.
Hopefully you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I would hate to see us pave that road.
I will tell you this though. So we can reach back out. So on this side of the road, on the east side of Cottonwood Avenue, if you want to, we could look into, this is just spectrum on this side. So maybe we can eliminate the poles on the east side of Cottonwood if you'd want to go that route. And I would have to reach out to Spectrum to see what it would cost to either bury them lines, or they can move them across the street and put on the We Energy poles.
I would like to know what both are. I mean, in ballpark, it's around 5 million. Ballpark. Or maybe it's more. Is it 8?
No, I think you're pretty accurate around 5
Right.
mil.
I'll
look into both of them options.
It's just a tough thing, because once we do pave that road, we don't want to do that. So this is for the motion that's on the floor. In favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion carried. Thank you, Dave, for that. I just want to, and for the board, I'm saying it because I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but I don't know what we're going to do about that ever. Announcements.
Okay, today we had a new DPW labor that started. We hired a local gentleman that was born and raised in Hartland. It's nice to retain one of our own, which is great. So his name is Nick McCoskey. He went to Arrow, worked his way up through Lake Country and, I'm sorry, Hartland Lad and Hartland Arrowhead. And he came private sector, so we are not stealing from other municipalities, which is another good thing. So we want to welcome Nick McCoskey to the Department of Public Works.
So we're sitting at 93 enrollees for ball, which is really good. We are nearly done with our Thursday night concert series, so a few more weeks to book there, and the acts yet, and a few more bands to book for hometown as well, as far as opening and ending acts go. National Night Out is going to be August 8th this year, and the band lined up is Trophy Husbands, so I'm pretty excited about that. That's a Thursday night as well. We do have vendor applications coming in for that, so if there is anybody interested in being a vendor park that night, that's open now. And we are accepting hometown selection sponsorships right now. So.
Couple recruitment updates. Offered another police officer candidate into our background investigation phase of our recruitment process. This individual comes with 15 years of experience from Milwaukee Police Department, so we're hopeful everything checks out, works out well there. Our other appointment with Taylor Weiss, Officer Weiss, has been going fantastic through the training program. So we're excited to see where it goes. And then finally, our Citizens Academy is coming up. So anyone interested to do that, or has anyone that's interested to learn more about their police departments here in the Lake Country area, it runs every Wednesday night, March 13th through May 8th, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And applications are due March 3rd. And their website.
What is the cost of that?
It's free.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Chief, are you on? I don't know if that is him. Barely. Yell louder.
There's a cross on his mic.
Oh, really?
You're unmuted now.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we'll be quiet so we can hear. Yep.
Okay. Just a couple of things. Our 2 full-timers are working out great. Brian Thomas has moved to a 48-hour shift. And as I've got one that's out on leave right now. And then Griffin is working as much as he can between all of his schooling. And other than that, we're staying busy and keep answering calls.
Flag looked great, Chief.
Thank you. I only made it over there one night. Got this lousy head cold that started on Saturday, so.
I only went one night also.
There all weekend. It was a great event, well attended. Again, strong support by our police department, by our fire department. It's a beautiful to see our massive flag flying. You know, we fly it as good as anybody in Waukesha or the state. So really a fun weekend.
I don't have any announcements. Thank you to everybody for all you did while I was gone. That it wouldn't have gotten done. I don't really do that much, but good to see you all again. The vet sleep out event. I don't know how much they raised, but it is a really real thing, and it was just really cool to see. It does seem to be growing every single year, but like I said, I'm not sure. Tom, any indication?
No number yet, but
okay.
It's good, healthy number again.
Good. That's great. It was a really cool thing for the community. The only other note I have is more so a question, but I'll throw it out there anyway. I was wondering, since I have the park board president on the board, and since Sarah's here, I just wanted to ask if you guys could maybe look into, or if the park board could possibly start thinking about if there's any way that we start to talk about the village making revenue off of utilizing the fencing for advertising. It may be something that people think is a bad idea, but I think it's going to be an idea to at least start about. I think it could be a healthy for the parks, or any of the. But yes, I'm thinking at various parks, but I think it might not be a bad idea. Just if you don't think if it's talked about, it doesn't have to be. But I was thinking it could start being talked about.
We were approached by one of the organizations, and we didn't really have a problem with that, except that we told them that it needed to be taken down and then put back up for the hometown, and they kind of had a problem with that at that time.
Yep.
So it was kind of dropped, and
yeah,
maybe it'll come back. I don't know.
I was thinking maybe we could make the revenue on it, but I don't know. But anyways, I don't have any other announcements. So.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.